When I move my fingers like this, harmonica sounds come out of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for listening to the show, and we are here to talk about one of the newest event spaces here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Bowman Twin Event Center. If you want to have a rave, you could have it there. If you want to have a bar mitzvah, you could have it there. If you want to have just a group of people hanging out in a big concrete room, boom, these people are these people are the people to reach out to. They have told me specifically that anything that you can do in a concrete room, they will have in their space as long as they can hose it out afterwards. So give those people a call. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you do. You're going to call them at 918-820-2830 or visit the BowmanTwinEventCenter.com and find out how to throw a real party in this town. Right, Huff?
Righto!
Yeah, oh. Enjoy the show. We got ourselves a little threesome brewing at the table this week. Hannah Reese and Kevin Tighe swing by the table to join us on Sitting with the Sosk. This local power couple got their start on separate coasts with humble beginnings. Find out how they joined forces here in Oklahoma. And we'll jaw about our shared experiences on The One, The Last Rodeo, and how this actress-line producer combo have their hands in more pies than you can shake a stick at. Sitting with the Sosk, coming to your ears right now. Produced by Streamliner. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my table. This is Sitting with the Sosk. You got a man behind the camera by the name of David Huff. That's the Huffster. And you got somebody behind all the controls, switching things around, making the magic happen. And that's Sasha. Say hello, gentlemen. Hello. Thank you for joining me, everybody. We got a little bit of a studio audience here, and by a little bit, I mean one, which is really exciting to have. Let's give a shout out to Christian over here. Thank you, Christian, for joining us in the studio, in-house in the recording. And one of the things I said on the first episode was that I wanted to bring the hidden gems and people who are working from soup to nuts. And I could just name this person at one end soup and this worst person at the other end nuts. Because together, these guys, that is one of the best intros that will ever happen on a podcast. Soup and nuts. And I pointed to the woman at the table and I said the nuts. That's the kind of pod that we are having here, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's
if I'm the soup, I'm making the soup.
I know. I want to welcome to the table Kevin Tighe and Hannah Reese.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Yeah, excited.
Kevin, I met, and Hannah, I met very early on in my landing here 4 years ago, coming down from New York City. Hannah as an actress who I connected with immediately as someone who understood the craft and was a yes-ander. I don't know if you know what that means, but you always want to hear when you say to another actor, hey, let's try this. Yes, and. Not, well, but. You don't want to hear the well, but. You want to hear a yes, and. And Hannah is one of those people. I have shared a film set now with her.
Yay.
On a picture called The One. And Kevin Tighe here is it associate producer or line producer? Line producer on The One. Yep. But Kevin is a man of many hats, associate producer, line producer. He is someone that I had another chat with very early in landing here. And the knowledge that the man has is unfathomable. And in any project that I think about undertaking at this point in the game here in Tulsa, Kevin is one of the first calls that I make on many different levels, as far as knowing the right people to work with, knowing things that make common sense that people might not think about. He is a man that realizes sometimes money means more wasting of money, and he's not a big fan of that. I love that about him.
I love wasting money, actually. When I have the opportunity to, it's great. Few and far between, but yeah.
So between the two of them, they really have the industry cornered in many ways. Also have a production rental company called
Spotlight Cinema Supply.
Yes.
Yeah. We have production supplies, location supplies, grip and lighting. We don't touch cameras or anything like that, but Expendables, walkie-talkies, internet.
3-4 years you guys been around now?
5 years, actually. I think we registered the company 5 years ago
You
tomorrow.
know what that means.
So
You know what that
January
means,
3rd,
ladies and
2020.
gentlemen. We are at a 5-year anniversary. Just go with 5. Just go with 5. 70.
Sure. We thought about it 5 years ago.
You've been around for 72 years.
Yeah, it's probably 4. That sounds about right.
4 years.
Sorry.
I've only been in Oklahoma 4 years, so.
You guys are originally from Oklahoma?
No. I was born and raised in New York. I moved to Los Angeles.
See, that's why we get along, man.
Yeah,
His parents have the best accent.
Do they
it's
really?
real.
Staten Island.
It's real.
Yeah.
Staten Island.
Staten.
Boom.
Hey, cheers.
Boom. Thank you so much for joining me at the table.
Thanks for having
This
us.
is for everybody out there.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salute. I was born and raised in New York, and then I moved to Los Angeles in 2005. So that's where I sharpened my teeth, and we were there for 15 years. I met Hannah there in 2007, and been together ever since.
Yeah.
How did you, now from here?
No.
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 It's funny. I always thought that you had originated from here. Please tell me where are you coming from?
I'm originally from Indiana, and then lived in Oregon, and then moved to Los Angeles right out of high school.
Oh,
I didn't
you had
go to
high school in
college.
Oregon?
Yeah, I went to high school in Oregon.
Oh, I love the Pacific
I was
Northwest.
homeschooled quite a bit also, so that made me a little weird.
Did you have any acting aspirations in Oregon when you were there?
Yeah. So, it's kind of a long story, but I was basically like out of high school. I was hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my Lord!
But it made me I was an athlete and a violinist, and so I was going to go do that stuff. But it kind of made me physically altered for a while, and it just that acting became more of my focus because in high school I was always a misfit, and I really found joy in the theater.
Yeah, sure.
So
well, you can celebrate the misfitness.
yeah. So
this is what I'm doing at the table,
Exactly.
gentlemen. We're celebrating misfits here. Yeah. Please go on.
So that situation took my life on a totally different trajectory, and it's great.
What was the first acting sort of bug? How did you come across it?
Okay.
Do you remember?
Well, I was in Oregon, and a lady came up to me and was like, "Oh, I just see you sitting over here. Why don't you come have some snacks, and we're celebrating?" And I was like, "Okay." I went and talked to her.
So she's going to kidnap you.
Well, she said, it's very bizarre.
First film was very awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But she said that she's like, I'm a script
supervisor.
Script supervisor. Her name is Mary Mannix, and I'm retiring. We're retiring to Bend, Oregon. But my husband, he's a producer. He'll get you into stuff. Yeah, well, let's do it. So they followed through with this, and he said, "Well, I can't really help you because you're not in SAG." He's like, "Well, actually, my college roommate, I believe, is in the Taft-Hartley division of SAG." And I don't know. Next thing you know, they're like, "You need to fly to LA and be in this commercial." And so I did this Ford commercial with Chris Brown.
That's
that was
a
whole other
podcast in and of
thing.
itself,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I was just kind of ushered in, and it was going great. But then that first strike, when was that? 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So everything, I had a pretty awesome, let's go. I was meeting with Lisa Fields and cool casting directors right off the bat, and then it was just.
And it just stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you start over all the time.
Yeah. And nothing in your control. Like, this is the thing that they don't teach you in the books, is that everything can be, that snowball can be rolling, and then something that has nothing but
The plague. I mean,
a global plague, a huge strike for your industry that you can't anticipate, that can completely derail momentum. Yeah. And I've discussed
and it often does.
Yes, it does. You are fully aware.
Absolutely.
From the conception of a project, you're someone that some people are reaching out from the get-go when they're thinking about actually like, okay, here we go. We're going to drum up a production. You're the person that has to, come in and say what's possible, what's not.
Yeah, I mean, my first question is always, do you have a budget range that you're trying to stay within? Because that just kind of sets up parameters out of the gate. So, $1 million to $100 million are obviously completely different scales. I don't like the $100 million films anymore because that, when we talk about wasting money, that's a different story.
There's so many different levels.
But yeah, and then it's just kind of navigating and finding a home for it. It's a lot of people think that you just need a good idea and then poof, you're making a movie. And there's just so many steps. A great producer I worked with on the last Rodeo, Kip Conweiser, he always said that making a movie is paperwork.
Yeah.
He's like, if the paperwork is right, you're going to finish your film. And no one thinks of that because there's so many. There's the union contracts, there's the rebates, there's the financing, the refinancing, because a financier always drops out last minute. When okay, the check is due. Okay, well, I'll give you a third of what I promised.
Yeah.
So little things like that, where if you can get through all the paperwork, even after the film, if your paperwork isn't right, it's not being released. And even if it gets released and something isn't right, and someone comes back and sues you and all that fun stuff. So
that's such an important part of the process that I have no understanding of, and I don't even want to dabble in it to a certain extent because it's so
SAG contracts are in a good way, in an important way, are incredibly difficult to navigate and convoluted, and there are many missteps you can take that could ultimately derail or cost you tons of money down the road.
But so many different avenues of knowledge you've collected along the way by doing that specific part of being a line producer.
Absolutely. A lot of mistakes and a lot of great mentors, a lot of people guiding me. I've been very, very fortunate. This is an industry of nepotism 100%, and I've had some very well-connected people kind of navigate. My first jobs were with my Aunt Sheila. She got me on as a PA, and she was a ball buster. She made sure that
back in
this is LA.
She learned under that one director. What was his name?
So yeah, she worked with this commercial director named Joe Pitka, who, if anyone knows him, if anyone knows
notorious.
The commercial world, he's probably the biggest commercial director of all time. He's probably, he did
she worked
the Nike, and so she PA'd all the way to produce for him. She was a great basketball player in college. So
wow.
He directed Space Jam. That's probably what most people would know him for. But anyway, on my first day, she said, "Great, everyone, this is Kevin. Today I'm getting him in, but tomorrow is on him. So if he messes up, you don't even need to ask me. You can fire him. You can get him out of here."
Oh man!
It was one of those that like we have the same last name.
That's it.
And people will see that on the call sheet, and they'll know why you're here. And she made it very clear that I was taking someone else's job. She's this is a position. We didn't just add it for you. This is someone that is in the budget, and the person that wasn't here yesterday, they'll be here tomorrow if you. Sorry, they'll be here tomorrow. So anyway, I had some great mentors throughout my career, but again, a lot of it is just making mistakes and learning from it.
You are representing her.
100%. Yeah,
that is
and everyone else
that we can that we when someone recommends you to a group, gets you involved in a production, before you look down at your phone, remember that you're representing this cat that got you. That's not just you. Mm-hmm. Now you're speaking for that person. And it's an important thing to remember. So I'm glad that those lessons being handed down are fantastic.
Yeah, and it's absolutely. And I never forgot that. And I still talk to Sheila. She still works in production, mainly commercial production, which is where I first got into. But we still talk often, and I'll if there's something that I'm just not sure, want to bounce her off, and she'll do the same with me too. Sometimes if it's like, hey, take a look at this budget, it's always good before you send off a budget to have someone else that knows what they're doing look at it.
Of course.
So that's something we do often, or just bounce ideas off. Like, hey, have you shot in North Carolina anytime recently? Yeah. Okay, send me the call sheet. I want to know who's good, who's not.
Sure.
Yeah, great. Okay, here you go.
Shout out to the last Rodeo as well. I was on that production as well.
Absolutely.
It was a very wonderfully run production. It was really
that was a circus.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you think there's enough things on a film set that could go wrong, and then you throw in live animals.
And then you throw in 2,000 pound,
2,000
pound
oh
beasts,
my Lord!
And literally say, okay, go do what you do.
But thrilling to be as an actor who's, I'm like, you guys want me to run it? Like, yeah, no. We got actual people, dude. And then I saw, just death-defying stuff being thrown off the bulls. Amazing. Yeah. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were all the stunt guys on that were actual PBR riders, and God bless them, man. They got more balls than I do.
Now, when did you guys meet on a production, or was it just
Mary Mannix, the lady I mentioned before?
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent out an email saying something like this
20-year-old
20-year-old model actress coming out here.
I'm mailing down this woman. No, I randomly get this email one day. Yeah, 20-year-old model actress moving from Oregon, wants to be an actress, and myself and 20, 25 other people are on this email, and of course I'm 23 now. Like, I'll show her around town, no problem. Give her my number and send. Yeah, that's
Wow.
and then a month later, I get an email from her saying she was in LA. And,
Oh, wow.
That's kind of what started it.
Yeah. I didn't have anywhere to stay. I was like living in my car.
Yeah.
You know,
You just
and
went.
this was pre-internet, like on the phones. I had a flip phone or
It's not
something,
pre-internet, but
a razor phone. Well, one lady had responded to the email saying, "Well, I live in LA, and you can have a studio for $500 a month. It's fully furnished." I was like, "That's the best deal I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take her up on that." And
Sure.
I show up to LA. I have my TomTom, you know, my GPS on my windshield. And I call her, which took me straight into Compton, by the way. That was the first road. Like, I ended up in there. It was horrible. Yeah.
From Oregon.
Beat up Civic, too.
I was like 19. Anyways, I call her and she's like, "Oh no, I'm in Ventura." I show up at her house. She was
like halfway back to Oregon.
insane. I could tell you the craziest story. The guy across the street, he was from the show Dukes of Hazzard, but with the cousins or something. And she's wasted, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta go over and meet this guy. You're gonna love him. I love
Lord.
him." So we go across the street. He's pouring drinks for me. I say I need to use the restroom. He's like, "Oh, I'll show you where it is. I'll show you where it is." I'm like, "I think I can find it." He's an older guy. He's got his little action figures everywhere. You know, he's really proud of who he is. And I think there was a bunch of kids running around. It was the weirdest thing. Anyway, he follows me to the bathroom. I'm like, "You're a weirdo." So I decide to leave.
This is like a
She's
Tarantino
gone.
movie.
She's gone. Then I go outside. It's raining, and she's standing in the middle of the street, like hiccuping and saying, "He's mine, and you're just gonna come in and steal him."
Oh my Lord!
Hannah
You're going.
had just turned 20 at this point too.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
So
Lord.
I just I lived in
Welcome
my
to
car.
the biz.
Welcome to Hollywood.
So yeah, I hit up Kevin after a while,
Oh my Lord!
and I actually didn't take. I called him, and he said, "Oh, we're out at the bar. You should come over." And I didn't tell him I wasn't 21 yet. So I actually started driving back to Oregon.
This
started
show takes
crying.
no responsibility for someone who
Well,
does
this is
engagement.
interesting because I just started freaking out, and I started driving back to Oregon. And he calls me. He's like, "Oh, I'm bummed. I wanted to meet you." And I know. And I was like, "Sorry, it's just not working out. I just don't have enough money. It's just not right, and I got to go home." But then
He's like, "Hey, Kate, come on back."
he did. He got drunk and started texting me about 1:00 in the morning, and he did indeed convince me to turn my car around. Do I?
I like
Is it
it.
getting
Talking
creepier?
about the creepy
Because
guy
I
across
added
the
the
street.
drunk-
Now you're driving
They
to
were
the creepy guy.
sweet texts.
Yeah, West
They
Hollywood
were
or
sweet.
West
I
LA.
married him.
Of course you
Yeah,
did.
he's sweet. But yeah, he told me to turn around. So he's the one.
So you find yourselves here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we're here.
and you have
Tulsa,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, baby.
two kids.
3.
Well, but when you first found yourselves here, did you have kids?
We had one.
We had one.
And then we've had 2 since.
And then
being
you've had
here.
two. What are you thinking? So 2 artists in the film industry thought it'd be a great idea to come to Oklahoma and have 3 kids in during a plague. What? So now what?
Yeah.
But the temperature of the area, you've done this, you've made this big switch, as have I, and we found ourselves here. How's it going?
How's it going?
I think it's going pretty well.
I'm happy.
I mean, it was a big leap of faith to come out here.
Sure.
But
We actually made the decision to move here before we realized there was any film community here.
Yeah.
Our original thought
Yeah.
was we could still work in and through Los Angeles,
Sure.
or change industries. You know, our motivation was to get out of California during the it's either too close or not
pleasantly
close enough.
surprised, you have been. It's been pleasantly
No,
surprising.
I knew we were like, okay, we're gonna come down here, and it's like, wait, who's doing a film?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when suddenly Scorsese's doing a film.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
Him being here too. Yeah.
It was just like, well, I guess this is just supposed to be, So
Well, and we can audition from anywhere now on our phones.
it broke
so
the whole system.
Like
So it
COVID did us a
changed.
favor in so many ways.
I feel like I've had a weird career resurgence. I talk with other actors. I miss going into the room for the adjustment.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Not part of it is a personal interaction, but I love that I can control it all.
Mm-hmm.
There was always this point when I would leave my apartment. I'm like, yeah, and then wind, bike rides, homeless person, fish, falling out of an AC unit, and then you show up at an audition, and then your guy that you haven't seen in a long time is like, dude, and you're like, dude, and then they're like, yeah, and you're like, what?
Action.
Go.
Yeah.
I love that none of that happens anymore. And that I feel like I make my own. I feel even more so the sense of how Tom Hanks is like, you do the audition and that's it. There's no, you're doing the audition to get the thing. Even more so now, I feel like I've shot my movie and that was my take and it's a wrap, And we had,
and I had,
there's something about it that's very. I dig it. I dig it.
Well,
I miss the interaction.
You do a very good job of it because it's such the auditioning on self-tape is a creative process, and there's certain rules that casting has said that we need to follow, and you've helped me break out of that mold a little bit. And I've actually talked to casting about this, like the not using the backdrop, and they've had to admit that directors, like casting, want you to stick to the backdrop and the everything's seamless.
Yeah.
And directors, the creatives, because there's a lot of good actors, and if the writing's well, then a human's going to hit the right spots, and they all kind of start blending together.
Especially if you have no one does anything in front of a single color background.
Exactly, it's so off. So then your tape comes in, and they're like, he did something different.
Well, and it was born out of necessity. It's like, it's the plague. I don't have a studio. I don't have I don't have a fucking home.
I remember your audition from the last rodeo. You started with, "Hey guys, sorry, I'm in your shed in the back." And I have a bunch of Girl Scouts or something. And your daughter had her friends over, and it worked because you use the environment to you're not acting.
If I can't act in front of a bunch of books, then I shouldn't be in the damn business. Right. Now I don't mean that. So I don't.
Your acting came through. I truly feel you would have gotten it one way or the other.
Sure.
But it was, I remember and I typically don't watch a ton of casting, but whenever I see certain names pop up, I'm like, how good they are. Like,
with Not
that anyone looks if I like something, but I'm like, I'll heart it. Just like the little this one got 9 hearts, or 7 hearts. Then Kevin, it doesn't matter.
Oh, not true. Dude, I've seen you on set. You are a very valued opinion, and all of the levels are looking to talk to you. So be humble, but you should be very proud. I've loved watching you work on set. Yeah. It's very cool to see.
Same.
Yeah,
I want to talk. You guys talk about the scene you guys shot 2 weeks ago on the one where
Sure.
you're basically abusing my wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had we're getting ready for the holidays. And now we get cast as I have to.
I'm sorry, PJ. That was hard.
You
were so good.
Hit a kid.
That was rough.
It's such a weird thing. Like during Thanksgiving, I'm trying to sort of, I have to unlock this piece of me again. And it's not. I don't, and who cares? But there is a side to really go there, and it was so. It just meant that I knew so many things I didn't have to think about because I was looking at someone that I respected, knew. We played together, and it was.
It was an honor, PJ.
Oh no. It was
fun. I
really
do
fun
again.
to play.
Yeah.
Really. And it was interesting, again, seeing how many pieces have to get involved for, a simple shove, way out of, line hit. And then a really overeager kid who wants to I want to kick my dad's ass. And then you have the fight guy who's like, okay, we got to, but it just, the combination of energies, the DP, DP's crawling, trying to get the shot that's right. And it's just amazing to see everybody.
What was his name?
Gary Waller.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get Gary on the pod because I love dancing with him.
He would love it too.
Just
he's
wonderful.
He's great. He's a guy that's been around forever. He was nominated for Oscars for visual effects.
That guy's seen some things, and I want to say all business, but not all business. So congenial, collaborative, part of the thing.
Yeah.
Part of the driving engine. Never running over somebody, but present. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just really. It was a nice. It was the filmmaking was. It was really nice, quick machine that you guys got yourself going. It was nice.
We're super lucky, and I say we as in Oklahoma and Tulsa. He lives in Tulsa now. That he's a local here. I mean, he's just a fantastic cinematographer.
Yeah, it was a really. So yeah, what were your thoughts coming in? You know, because they were also talking about potentially having your child
Yeah.
in your arms when
But you know, we didn't want to traumatize the kids.
I kind of I did. I
So-
kind of nixed the idea
Well-
because it's like, well, I know you, and I don't want your little baby every time she sees me. You're like, oh,
in
here's the guy that hit
hindsight,
mommy.
it would have been so hard to get through that with the kids.
Oh Lord, yeah.
So I'm gonna reevaluate ever offering that again.
It's like an ice cream parlor shot. Yeah,
But it
show everybody
definitely
that.
changed the scene a bit. But how insane would that scene would have been if I was holding a baby? That
Oh
would have
my
been nuts.
Lord.
Wow.
I'm not sure where it would have. For me, it felt, and there's this phrase that I use. It felt like I was putting a hat on a hat, like that. And then so it's like it's all already.
We
it
get
was-
the point once you
well,
go like
but
that. Yeah.
again, unified again. That wasn't even like it was. Just, yeah, no, that's it. We're good, you know. So it was whatever the thought was had been before, or it seemed like everybody reached a clarity of that real quickly, and it wasn't even in discussion,
Yeah.
which was nice. Which was it was good to have to not to. It's always nice when you have a thought for safety, for this, for that, for all the other things, and it is heard collaboratively. It's not like it's that notion of the smartest idea wins. It's not who's right. It's just what's best for the production. Sometimes the production tells you what the right answer needs to be. You know.
I agree.
Poetic.
So how many times have you worked together on a was the one because
Not
did
very
you
many
work
times.
on because also I want to talk about Beldam. I'm
Yeah,
saying
the
it correct?
Bellingham, yeah.
Did you work on
No.
okay.
Nope, I had nothing to do with that. No, I was gonna say I don't think we've been on set too many times.
I've been trying.
together.
I auditioned for that medic role in the last rodeo.
Right, that
you
didn't happen.
got.
Oh, the one
You
that I got.
The
one.
one that you
Yeah. Just saying. Yeah, I've been trying for a while, so it felt really good to get one.
Yeah.
So I'll keep trying. You know.
I did something when he put his hand through the hole. I don't remember what the hell I did, but I remember I was like, "What the hell?" Like there was something that whatever. I just go. Some of the people I read with are like, wait, when is he gonna stop?
When you,
It was
but
real.
that's why they pay you the big bucks.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look,
You
it
bring
was
it.
great
You
to
bring
work
it.
with. I love it when you get a chance for a part that's not all that in a bag of chips, but you do get to work with both of the heavy hitters and play with the director on a week of work.
Yeah.
It was fantastic to see. That's what's so cool about what we do. We
Yeah,
get-
you were hanging out on the last rodeo for a few days before you got in front of camera. Too.
Yeah, I mean-
when you deal with bull riding, it's kind of like, well, we got it, and if we don't, we
Yeah.
just got to keep going until we get it.
So I gotta hang around and watch bull riding all day. Okay.
Crafty's over there.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
But the height. Just to talk about, I'm just going to do another one for the bull riders
height
out
of
there.
what?
The
you
height
go.
that these guys would fly. Do you guys want another tiny? Tiny. Just
Little
little,
tiny.
little
Medium,
tiny,
whatever.
tiny. The height that these guys would fly off the frickin' bull.
Oh.
I mean, I took a couple pictures. It's like,
We
And
got
then-
some fantastic footage.
just like,
Yeah.
just like they tripped on a rug. Easily, what, 10 feet at least.
15 to
10
20.
yes, in the
I mean,
air.
when the bull's just
Spinning
standing, they're 8
without
feet off the air.
control.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Scary.
Incredible. Salute to the bull riders.
bull riders.
To that whole
The
industry.
last rodeo coming out in May, I think May 11th,
Ooh.
Memorial Day weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, now this is what we're going to do. We're going to come to the premiere. Huff, me, Sash, and we're going to do a little pod from the damn premiere.
Ooh, okay.
I
Let
like
me
it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Did you hear that, Huff? You gotta figure out how we're gonna do a. It's called the Last Rodeo. It came through town. It's a wonderful cat. Yeah,
Directed
please.
by John Avnet.
John Avnet.
He did
starring
m-
Neil McDonough, Michael T. Williamson, who's Bubba. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I
Yeah.
just finished season 2. He was.
Yeah.
And I mean.
And
we
this is
talked
very
about-
different. He plays a lot of bad guys.
No, he's the.
And this
Those
is
eyes.
he's one.
got the
oh,
attitude.
Beautiful.
He's
Those
such a
piercing
nice guy.
eyes.
Yeah.
He, I mean, just
so
truly one of the nicest. No, he really is. Relax. No, he. No, can't say a bad word about Neil. He was just a professional.
Yeah.
top to bottom,
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
a truly
agreed.
nice person, man of God, and I certainly appreciate that. Everyone on that project was great, though. I mean, a guy like John Avnet has been around for forever. I mean,
Yeah, man.
He was a producer on Risky Business, and
Yeah.
he directed Fried Green Tomatoes and The War,
Love
and
that movie.
hundreds of episodes of television. So working with a guy of his caliber
Yeah.
was great. And, it was still,
and
it was
he
still an indie
cared
film,
just
though.
as much of my input on something. It was really cool to sort of be,
Yeah.
again, a cat who's been around for a long time, and yet he's still a collaborative instrument.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Cool.
No, that
Cool
was
to
great. But
see.
yeah, Last Rodeo, check it out in theaters. Yeah, I think it's May 11th. Yeah.
So here's a new wrinkle that happens. All right. So you guys have kids. Everybody's like, oh, you want your kids to go into business? Do you not want your kids to go into business? So this picture called Twisters comes into town, and suddenly your kid gets cast in Twisters. What is that like? Oh, shit? Or is it like, oh, like truly, like what is?
I text him whenever she got the booking. I was like, she just booked Twisters, and he said, of course she did. 'Cause, I've been trying forever, and
Yeah, so
she
I was
just like no problem.
Well, let's if anyone that's seen Twisters, the scene that our daughter is in is when they're at the rodeo and the storm comes through and they go into the pool at the motel, and obviously she has a mother in the scene. So Hannah auditioned for that role.
Yeah, I
as well.
did.
No, so to say that there was now I will say Hannah was 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant
Yes.
with kid number 3.
Yeah,
So of
You
course
couldn't see my pregnancy in the audition. I just wanted to try.
Yeah. So that's why Hannah didn't get it.
Yes.
Obviously, but yeah, no, I mean, we were obviously super excited, and it was a ton of fun being on set with her too, where I don't have to deal with anything.
Right. So
other
now
than her.
you're stage dad.
I'm stage dad, and it was fantastic.
It was so.
I had my own trailer.
That
I mean, it was her
the
trailer,
coolest
but it was my trailer.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't have gotten closer
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
directors, the cameras, the actors. Like, you are right there.
Yeah.
And on that caliber, there was endless money. I've never seen that much money on a set before. Yeah. And, I've been on sets that have had a lot of money, but not like that. It was insane. And then to see the aftermath, they do this massive drone shot in the movie, and you can see it. And going on set to actually see that, I mean, it was hazardous. You had to be careful because there was nails sticking out everywhere, and she's walking over all this stuff. Yeah, it was wild.
Shout out to Schwa, who's been who sat at the table, who did some wonderful production.
What they
ran
did
it.
was
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, very impressive. Good job, Schwa.
Schwa.
He worked on the Bellingham too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It was. I remember when we first pulled up, I had this just anxiety when I saw all of the trailers and looking at the acreage that catering takes up because they have to feed 500
So much
extras.
good food.
Yeah, it really was. It was like, what do you want? Ayla just kept our daughter.
She
Ayla
mentions the burritos in every interview
What's your favorite
that
part
she's
about
had.
doing American on the movies? The burrito.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I think it's great, and she enjoys it very much. And she's, we've just experimenting, but she's actually very good.
Yeah.
And we bond over the experience. So
Oh,
I
good.
got her a manager in LA, but there's been nothing over there. So
No, it's weird. Yeah, the industry is in this real. It'll be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah.
Because it's not that there's no huge
I feel like we're in a
glacialish,
bubble.
Yeah.
a bit over here in Oklahoma.
Well, there's stuff that's coming. There's a continual production.
Well, and I feel like we're
line between
protected.
independent and bigger productions coming through.
Well, I just feel as though we're protected a little bit by that rebate because we're rebatable actors when we're here. So you have access to the other markets as well as
Well, I've been
this one.
I mean, I've said on the program, I've been able to work in Texas, I've been able to work in Arkansas, I've been able to work. That has been, and the access to working on different. I mean, I was just going through the list of people that I got to work with this year. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't probably have had that experience in New York.
Oh, absolutely. And
because it's a different thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, even in the 4 years we've come here, I've seen more and more people move here, more companies pop up.
Yeah.
Just the level of professionalism, we're meeting the challenge.
Yeah.
More stages.
But more stages are being built. Again, more equipment houses. I run into new people that have been doing it for a while, or have just recently moved here, or have always been here, and kind of the foundation of the Oklahoma film scene. So it's been
you've
been
gotten
guys
to
like
see an
Dave
interesting
Hoffman
mix.
and
The cats who have been here a long
Yeah.
time doing it and hustling in the trenches,
versus
the people that are just coming in as well.
You
get to see this crossbreed of all of it.
Exactly, and it's been great. I think I've said it several times. Most of the projects that I'm on, or all of the projects that I'm on here that film here, when people ask how it goes, I say Tulsa stepped up, Oklahoma stepped up. You know, these are, again, a guy like John Avnet. I mean, who's been doing this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And has won many, many awards, and he left happy. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And he said he would come back, and I believe him, because I don't think he's this person that needs to lie.
Yeah.
He said he would
Can
come
I
back.
mention the thing about the Oklahoma sunset?
Please.
Well,
now you're gonna.
Well, they had a test screening, and they have a shot of an Oklahoma sunset.
Yeah.
And John was like, "We need to reshoot it because it just looks fake." But the
it's
Oklahoma
so
sunsets are just outstanding. I'm like, I'm almost like, I should have kept that in there.
Yeah,
'Cause we
the
know.
lava in the sky
We know.
is
That's
mornings
real.
and nights. And my little daughter's a big fan. Like, we'll get up and
Oh, that's so cute.
I love the skies here.
It's insane, right?
Tremendous.
It's just so big.
Yeah.
When you again coming from places that have mountains and hills.
I thought we
surrounding
had it
you.
made in L.A., like Santa Monica and Venice, but no.
Quick note about, because I've done some latex special effects kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the experience in as an actress coming in and doing molds and the whole
Yeah,
nine
that was
yards.
interesting. But
Beldham is
comparing my experience with others, mine was it was great because they had me out. I think the beginning to end, it was only about 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Some people have to be in those things for hours on
You're talking
end.
about actually when you casted
When
it?
I did the live cast,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. But how was the application process on a daily? Like 3, 4?
What'd you say?
3 or 4? Like how long of the application process was
That's what I mean. It was
45
45 minutes, start to finish.
it? Really?
Oh, I thought you meant making the mask. Like,
I'm confused. We're talking about applying.
we're both asking
Yeah.
you questions here.
Yes.
Yeah, this
And
is
it
my
was
fucking
start to
program.
end.
Settle the fuck down,
45
okay?
minutes. See, most people.
You want another one?
You guys need-
See, this is why I had them. I want to see if they fight. Go. It's just, no. But please, no. What I had been talking about, I'm aware. No, I married an actress as well. I was talking about the application process.
Yeah.
But the mold process isn't 45 minutes. It's
the
longer.
whole thing, start to finish.
Right.
I'm saying making the mask when they flew you to LA. How long did that take? That was my question.
45 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
And it's unheard of because usually it takes a really long time. But he was like, no, I'm
Chapeau.
really good.
Dang.
And he's like, and I know you're pregnant, so I'm going to get you in and out really
Oh,
fast.
that's nice. Well,
They were just slopping it on, slop.
Yeah.
They had classical music going.
Did you do the nose hose? Did you have to even do that stuff?
He poked holes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was just chilling with. But
Yeah.
if I had to be in that thing for a really long time, I mean, you'd have to go to a really happy place, a really
Yeah, man.
meditative space because it is claustrophobic in there.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
It's like scuba diving.
The hand on your shoulder, there's supposed to always be somebody just standing there with the hand on your shoulder.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they probably dispensed with that after a while.
Yeah, they were slopping it on.
Yeah.
I've had to go too, but like somebody
Yeah.
stood there the whole time with the hand on their shoulder, and it takes all that. Weird.
Oh,
Makes sense.
like your little
Yeah.
support person.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah, so it was good. Could have
Nice.
been bad, but it was good.
Yeah, it's a very different experience wearing all this stuff and finding a way to act through it and figure out when things go wrong, how to make them work.
Yes.
There was one point where I had a mask on, like duct taped under a hat, and I couldn't move my face a certain way, and we had to make it work.
Because
for
it was duct taped to your skin.
Yeah, like it was falling. It was
Uh-huh.
hot, and it wasn't sticking.
Oh, you think you got
And
like
it was literally like they were the contraption underneath my head. It looked like I was a Frankenstein monster. It was crazy.
Wow.
Well, and we're watching The Penguin right now, so just thinking about a guy like Colin Farrell.
He said 3 hours, I think, for that process.
I think every day, 3
Yeah.
hours to get to that.
I can't even see him. I can't even.
I
have
hardly
glimpses.
can.
I have glimpses where I
Yeah,
can hear his
it's so
voice, or hear him. It's
fascinating.
such good work.
Hannah
Yes.
shared a video with me recently where it was after he was camera wrapped, still in full garb costume, is talking in his normal voice, and it's
just
morbid.
amazing.
It's like
It's
full, like
amazing.
I mean, we all know it's Colin Farrell under there, but yeah, I mean, you just
Yeah.
even with like the limp and the bodysuit and the whole thing, it's just he looks. I mean, incredible performance,
So
obviously.
cool.
And then when you hear his, like subtle, Irish accent, it's like, oh man, like that is Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
under
man,
there.
and
incredible.
such a good actor.
Yeah,
Oh
So
my
good.
God. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming to the
Are we
table.
done already?
This has been it's amazing because I want to get you guys back after the one is done, and I'm going to try to see if I could do like a round table of everybody because I think it'll be fun to sort of see something at the beginning of the project, at the end of the project. I think that's something that we're playing around with.
Love that. Yeah. Well,
If,
yeah,
you
thanks
know,
for having us. This was great.
if the sense of this is to find out about the independent film world in Oklahoma, I think these two people right here are proof that it is alive and well. It is growing. It is exciting. There's nothing really standing in its way to a certain extent. Yeah. So, keep bringing your productions here and know that you have a very talented group of individuals waiting to make your movies come to realization.
A lot of resources
truth.
here.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Yeah. So thank you, Kevin Tighe. Thank you, Hannah Reese. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you,
at the
PJ
table.
Sasko.
I'm really bummed that we didn't have like an arm wrestle, but that's okay.
not too
Wait,
late.
did you do
It's
that
just
on
pretty
the other
chill.
episodes?
Are we gonna do it? Hey, can we fade out with an arm wrestle? Are we gonna
Kevin,
do this?
PJ, let's go.
Wait,
I'm
I'm
thinking-
not.
Me and you?
No, you two.
Oh,
my
us two.
Lord.
No.
How can anybody? Yeah. Yes. Ready? And we're gonna
we'll
fade
do
out
one
on.
hand.
Wait, no, hold on.
Don't
Don't
do
wreck the.
anything.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Oh, well, this is the first
You think
time.
this is even going to
Oh,
be a
my Lord,
challenge?
This is exciting. This is the first time. Here we go. Don't hurt each other. Ready? Huff, you're gonna call it. And wrestle. Oh my God, it's on. It's on. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh wait, no. Oh, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. Is Hannah gonna come? Hannah's gonna break her damn arm.
I was gonna let you in.
I couldn't even do it when you were letting me win.
This has been Arm Wrestling with the Sask. Thanks for joining us at the table, everybody. We'll talk to you again next time. This has been PJ Sasko, Huff behind the camera, Sash behind the Sash.
Sure.
It's like a weird combination of Sasha and Stash.
Is someone else in the room? Stash.
Oh my
that you're-
Lord! Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Peace.